My name is Richard Halston, and I turned 75 last winter. There was no cake, no calls, no text that said, "Happy birthday, Dad." Just the hum of the refrigerator, the drip of the sink, and the calendar on the kitchen wall still open to last month. You'd think after 3 years of forgotten birthdays, I'd be used to it. But every year, there's that foolish spark, that small, stubborn part of me that thinks maybe this time they'll remember. They never do. But strangely, the one thing they never forget is my checkbook. I wasn't always alone. There were days when my little apartment would be filled with noise. My 2 kids, Aaron and Melanie, chasing each other across the hallway, their laughter echoing like it would never fade. Their mother, Clara, used to say I spoiled them. Maybe she was right. If they wanted new bikes, I worked overtime. If they wanted college in another state, I sold my car. When Aaron needed a down payment for his first house, I cashed out part of my retirement fund. I told myself, that's what fathers do. But somewhere along the way, I stopped being a father and became a wallet that answered calls. It's strange how predictable things become. When my phone rings, I already know which tone it'll be. "Hey, Dad, how've you been?" Then comes the pause, the one that says they're waiting to ask for something. It's never, "How's your health?" or "Do you need anything?" Just numbers. Mortgage, tuition, bills, loans. I always said yes. Even when my body said no. Even when my savings shrank and my nights grew longer. Because somewhere inside, I believed that giving was how they'd remember to love me. Last fall, I drafted a message in my phone. It said, "Just checking if anyone remembers what day it is." I never sent it, because even typing it made me feel like a beggar at my own doorstep. I went out for a walk instead. The leaves had turned to rust, and the park bench I always sit on was damp with morning rain. An old woman feeding pigeons smiled at me and said, "You waiting for a call?" I smiled back. Something like that. When I came home, there were 2 emails in my inbox. Both from my kids. Neither said happy birthday. Both had the same subject line. "Dad, can I ask a small favor?" That night, something inside me shifted. It wasn't anger, I'm too tired for that. It was clarity. I realized that if I disappeared tomorrow, the first question wouldn't be, "What happened to Dad?" It would be, "Who handles his account?" I sat in silence and thought about every sacrifice, the long shifts, the broken back, the loneliness I brushed off because they needed me. And then I looked at my hands. They trembled a little, not from age, but from realization. They'd taken enough. I decided that my next birthday wouldn't go uncelebrated. Not because they'd remember it, but because I would. So I bought 3 small wooden boxes from a local craft shop, polished, simple, and engraved with each of their names. Inside each box, I placed something symbolic. A blank checkbook, brand new, untouched. On the inside cover, I had it engraved with 5 words. "You've already taken enough." And on the first check, I wrote the date of my upcoming birthday. Nothing else. No amount. No signature. Just a reminder of everything that was spent long ago. On the morning of my 76th birthday, I mailed the boxes. 1 to Aaron in Portland, 1 to Melanie in Chicago. That evening, as the sky turned pink over Seattle, I made myself tea and waited. Not for calls. For closure. At 8:37 p.m., my phone buzzed. Aaron had sent a message. "Dad, what is this supposed to mean?" 10 minutes later, Melanie's text came through. "Is this a joke?" I didn't reply to either. For the first time, I didn't owe anyone an explanation. 2 days later, Aaron called again. I let it ring. Then came the email's long, defensive, half apologies that started with, "We didn't mean to forget," and ended with, But you could have just said something. But here's the thing, I did 1,000 times. In my gifts, my help, my silence, every act of giving was me saying, please, don't forget me. And they forgot anyway. Weeks passed. My birthday came and went. But the quiet felt different this time. Not empty, peaceful. I realized revenge doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers through an act so simple, it leaves echoes in others. Aaron eventually sent me a message saying, Dad, I didn't realize how much we took you for granted. Melanie wrote, I cried when I saw the engraving. I'm sorry. I didn't need to reply, because for once they heard me. Every morning now, I walk to that same park bench. The old woman still feeds pigeons, and sometimes she brings an extra sandwich for me. She asked me last week, did you ever get your call? I smiled. Not the one I expected, but the one I needed. I may have spent my life giving, but this time, I gave myself something better. Peace. And that, my friends, was the real gift. For anyone listening, this story is a reminder that revenge doesn't always have to destroy. Sometimes, it simply restores balance. My silence said what years of pleading couldn't. My message wasn't about money. It was about self-respect. So the next time someone forgets your worth, remember, you don't need to shout. You just need to stop giving.
Thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this, go watch the one on the left and don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more tales of triumph over injustice and a saga of ultimate revenge.